All right, so we're about to do the second part of chapter 11. So welcome back. All right, so let's go ahead and put this video in presentation mode. All right, so characteristics and examples of first class, second class, and third class levers. So what are these? So first class levers. So think of a first class lever like a seesaw. So the fulcrum, remember that's that kind of movable point. It lies between what we call the force, or the applied force, and the resistance. So I know you're thinking, okay, what do these terms mean? So applied force is the force is being applied, right? And the resistance is what's opposing the motion. Okay, so example of what that might actually look like would be in your neck. Okay, so if you move your neck, you are actually moving in the force that's pushing your head down is essentially, there's a fulcrum, which is the joint there in your neck, and so you're actually being, the force is on one side, and the resistance opposing that motion is on the other side of the fulcrum, which is, again, the neck and your joint. All right, or the joint in your neck, rather. So, all right, second class levers. So think of a second class lever like a wheelbarrow. So everything, I know sometimes people don't use those today, but many of us who have to do work out in the yard use a wheelbarrow. And so in this case, then the resistance is going to lie in between the applied force and the fulcrum. And so if you think about, you're holding the arms of the wheelbarrow, all right? So, in terms of the angle that the wheel, between the wheel and the ground, or the angle that you're making between your hands, the wheel, and the ground, that's creating an angle, and that's basically what happens when you have a second class lever. So again, you have the example here from the body would be like your calf muscles. When your calf muscles, and when they're helping to extend your ankles. All right, so that is very similar to what happens when you pick up a wheelbarrow and move it. Okay. So for third class levers, so important thing to know here is that these are the most common in the human body. And here your applied force is going to actually be between the resistance and the fulcrum. Okay, so you kind of have to think about these three things: the applied force, the resistance, and the fulcrum, and which one is in the middle. Okay, so that kind of will help you to remember which one is which. All right, and in this case, it's also considered a bit of a reverse of what you have with the second class lever. And an example of this would be your biceps brachii. Okay, so in a sense here, you have your resistance in your fulcrum, okay, or the movable area, and your force is in the middle. Okay, so again, your biceps brachii is third class lever, calf muscles, and your ankle, that forms a second class lever, your neck forms a first class lever. Okay, so I know there's a lot there, so let's just do check for understanding just on that. Okay, so in a blank class lever, the resistance lies between the applied force and the fulcrum. Okay, so I'll give you a minute to pause the video, think about your response, and if you are watching the video with someone, whether that's at home or watching online with others, try to either talk to each other or type your responses to each other to see what you all think the answer is. All right, so let's see what the answer is. It's a second class lever. Okay. All right, so next question. Blank class levers are the most common in the human body. All right, so again, give you a minute to think about what your response is, and if you're working with someone, whether in person or online, and go ahead and explain it to them, and then let them explain it back. All right, so I'll go ahead and pause the video. Okay, let's see what the answer is. It is a third class lever, which is the most common in the human body. All right, so your neck is an example of a blank class lever. All right, so think about what your response would be. All right, if you're watching with someone, go ahead and explain your response to them. Let them explain it to you. Yeah, go ahead and pause the video. Okay, let's see what the answer is. It is a first class lever. All right. So we're going to stop the video here, and then we're going to go move on to part 3, and we'll pick up here at functions of axial and appendicular musculature.